Awesome. We are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Loan Depot and Mellow Home event with world-renowned, world-class agent coach Tom Ferry. We're really glad to have you here. My name is Justin Keene. I'm Director of Training and Development for Loan Depot for our retail loan consultants. And we're really excited to have you here for this live event. If you're checking us out on the replay, we're really glad to see you as well. And really hoping that you guys get a lot from this great presentation today. Use that chat to let us know how we look and how we sound. Want to make sure everybody can hear us and see us. Tom's doing a little dance there. I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Randy Hamilton. He's our Senior VP and Chief Operating Officer for Mellow Home to kind of kick us off.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to everybody and welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day. We wanted to put an event on with Mr. Ferry here, as many of you may know, to not only help you wrap up 2020, but really get you launched into 2021. I don't think there's anything more for me to say at this point other than, hey, Tom, why don't you go ahead and take it away? We look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Justin, appreciate all that you guys and the whole team do. So, hey, happy Thursday, right? It's November 5th. It goes without saying, for some people right now, there's some uncertainty, and for a lot of us, there's certainty. And I hope that during our time together, I can bring you certainty around your business, about what you're going to do to make the next 14 months extraordinary. If you know anything about my background, I'm 35,000 hours now in documented of coaching CEOs of companies in the real estate business, in the mortgage business, loan officers, agents, team leaders, tech companies, young entrepreneurs, and occasionally friends of my sons that are 16, 18 years old that are just trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers. I think anybody that says that would be completely nuts. What I do know is when I reflect back on the 35,000 hours and I look at the number of people I work with today that are on the America's Best Agents list, the Wall Street Journal Top 1,000, right? All of these men and women that I know and have worked with over the last, call it, 28 years as a coach, people ask me like, Randy, you probably get the same thing. Why is it that some loan officers that joined the company at the same exact time, that went to the same school, went to the same training, got the same licensing, went into the same branch, one totally kills it, and another one seems to underperform their potential? You with me? Like, they don't fail,
Yep.
but they underperform their potential. And I look at that all the time. I get asked that question, in a different way all the time. And, with my background, I would say, yeah, sure. Like, it could be marketing. It could be the ability to be charismatic, to be empathetic, to be a great listener, to be an excellent negotiator, to be a great salesperson, a great listing agent, a great buyer's agent, a great marketeer, better at managing your money. There's a million things that it could be. What if I told you, though, when I look at all of my body of work, and remember, it's myself. I'm one of 170 coaches in my company working with people in about, I think, 18 countries around the world. And when you look at it and you start connecting the dots, the people that are achieving at the highest level versus the people that are underperforming their potential versus the ones that are achieving, the ones that are satisfied, Randy, the ones that are like happy with their business. They want more, but they know that they're doing the right things. Those people, my friends, it's only one thing: personal responsibility. Yep. Seminar's over. Okay, I'm out.
Yep.
That's it. Like, Randy, you and I both know the people that say they're going to do it and do it are the ones that win. It's that are loan officers that win. They say, I'm going to get that loan funded on time. And you're like, I know that she's saying that. I trust her because when she says something, she does it. And agents know it, right? You know when you're underperforming your potential, you're making promises that you're not truly committed to. You say you're going to make the phone calls and you don't. You know, you struggle to get up in the morning and do the right things, to go to the gym, etc. So like the timing for this is just so perfect. Like when Randy reached out, he's like, hey, let's get a bunch of agents together. Let's see if we can finish the next 56 days, you know, even better than the last 56 days. And can we set the tone for what we want to accomplish in 2021, coming off this insane, that isn't even over, presidential election. So I've got a bunch of stuff I want to share. Randy, I'll make sure that you guys have the PDF of this and you guys can share it with everybody.
Awesome.
Because as always, I have more slides and more content than we have time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share a lot of great stuff with everybody. Let me just pull up my deck real quick here and I'll get this going.
Yeah, and I'll get out of your way and everyone enjoy it.
Perfect.
Looking forward to it, Tom.
All
really
good, all good. Of course. Thank you, Randy. Thank you always. So moving beyond that, this is really the question, my friends. Like, not being motivational, being strategic. Do you believe that the next 14 months can be the best 14 months of your career? Do you believe that? Or do you believe that the next 14 months are going to be full of upset, tragedy, you know, more of the same? What do you believe? Like, I'm a historian. I study the market. I look back over time and I look at the trends and what do we know today? Like 2.7% interest rates. Like, that's insane. 2.7%. It just lowered again this morning. And what do we also know? That the MBA, that everybody in the mortgage space is saying, hey, by the end of next year, rates should be at 3.8. And I know when you hear that, you're like, oh my goodness, 3.8. But Randy, I bought my first house in 1989. I think the interest rate was like 11.5. So if you've been around for a while, you have perspective of how insanely great 2.7 is and how really insanely great 3.8 is. But what it does tell us is this is a moment in time. This is a moment in time. You got TikTok, 14 months. 14 months to sell more homes, to solve more problems, to help more customers move up, move down, buy a second home, buy multiple investments, and take advantage of the buying power that is available today. On the flip side, what do we know? Buyer demand is stronger today than it's ever been. And dependent upon where you are in the country, like I just did a session earlier for the Greater Association of Hartford, Connecticut. If anybody out there is from Connecticut and you're watching, I don't have to tell you how good the market is right now in Connecticut. And I also don't have to tell you, Bill Ravis, one of my personal clients, the William Ravis Company, big shout out to Chris and to Ryan, and you know, they're 4,000 agents strong. They're having a remarkable year this year. And we all know that for 12 straight years, the overall real estate housing business in Connecticut has been pretty flat, in many cases, even down. And because of the migration patterns happening with work from home, teach from home, home, and what it means now, your home, what it means now. We're watching these migration patterns happening. New York City going to Connecticut and buying everything up. Everybody along the coast of California getting out of their smaller places. They want to be by the beach. They want to be by the lake. They want to have a backyard. They want to have a home office. They need to have a second home office for their kids to go to school. Like, if you really are paying attention right now, if you're really paying attention and you need another data point, look at what we're talking about in This Week in Housing from my friends at Keeping Current Matters, or Ivy Zellman, who Randy knows, who everybody knows in the real estate space. She is the housing economist. And she's saying we're going to have 5.9% appreciation on homes across the board in 2021. 5.9. Zillow says 7%, which is pretty surprising considering on March 29th, they came out and said their forecast was -3% because we were early in COVID. That's a 10-point spread. My point to you is this, my friends, not trying to be motivational in any way, shape, or form. It just tells me what your mindset is. Do you believe that the next 14 months could be extraordinary? Are you like, yeah, baby, come on, Ferry, let's get to it? Or are you like, I don't know, doesn't he understand in my market, what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing? Mindset matters, my friends. So the question is, what are you committed to? What are you committed to for the next 14 months? Like, what do you want? And we're going to get into that today. I'm actually going to walk you through a process, a formula, that if you and I were sitting together one-on-one, like I just did with James Suarez from LA, or Tim Smith, my personal client from Newport Beach, or the Ravis guys from Connecticut, we get super clear on what we want in detail. And then we start building simple action plans. That's what we're going to do today. So you can predict what you want and then know exactly what you have to do to get there. So I call it the ultimate success formula. And I know that sounds motivational, but understand, when you've been doing this as long as I've been doing this, and you've worked with a wide variety of talent that I work with, and you've answered thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of questions from people that text me or DM me or one-on-one, I like to keep things simple, right? Simple, just 4 things, just 4 things. You do each one of these 4, you make the decisions, you write it down, you commit to it, and you will be that achiever, not that person that is underperforming their potential. That's what I want. So let's jump right into it. Where does it start? Right here. You got to know exactly what you want. So if I asked you right now to say to you, just 2021, forget the next 2 months, right? Though I don't want you to, but just for simple math, how many transactions do you want to do in 2021? I would argue that a 25% increase would be good. 50% would be great. Doubling your number of transactions is completely doable in this market with the perfect storm of people that are moving, people that are trying to figure out as a research phase seller what to do. They meet with you, they get the clarity, they take action. How many transactions do you want to do? And then you see it says by lead source. See, the achievers understand we're going to have multiple different lead sources. I'm going to have my past clients in Sphere. I'm going to have agent referral. I'm going to have geographic farm. I'm going to arbitrage some leads. I got leads coming in from Mellow Homes and my partnership there with my loan officer. I have all these opportunities, but I want to break down in detail how many transactions I'm going to do by each source so I can then allocate the time and marketing spend for the return on investment that I want. That's the first thing. The next 2 are easy, like total sales volume. All right, so what's that going to be? And then total commission paid after my split. Total commission after my split. Average percentage of retained commission, which we're going to get into today, is a huge opportunity for you. I promise you right now, that whether there's 200 or 20,000 of us right now watching this live or later, I can tell you this, too many agents their concessions on commissions the last 3 years have been accelerating to the point that they're selling more and they're earning less. And we got to do something about that. You go down the list. This is a big one. Do you know exactly how many appointments you need to go on to guarantee your transaction goal? Like, let's just say you said to me, I want to do 30 transactions, right? A number. I want to have 20 of those be listings sold. How many listing appointments do I need to go on? Now, a smart ass will say, you got to go on the right 20. I know. I don't mean to curse, but you know what I'm saying. What we know is this, studying and tracking all of our clients for decades, it's basically 2 appointments is 1 listing sold, right? Because you're going to lose sometimes. Sometimes you're going to say no. And sometimes you're going to price it so astronomically high that it just doesn't sell. So if your number's better than that, think of this as a baseline number. But if you went on 5 appointments and you took 5, you're not really in the game yet. You got to be going on double digits, 20, 30, 40 to recognize what it's like to truly be influential, right? Not just to list the person that was the layup, but to go after the person that maybe expired 3 times and they called you and you go in and you really have to perform to build the trust, to show them how you do it, and to get them to say yes to do it right this time. The other one is buyer consultations to close transactions. What if I told you that just 18 months ago, even 2 years ago, you'd go on 3 buyer consultations to get 1 closing? Today, because of the shortage of inventory, it's 4 to 1. And it's not because you're doing a bad job or the buyers are totally unrealistic, though they can be at times. But if you do a good consultation, right, you don't have as much of that. If you're not doing any buyer consultations, your number's probably worse than that. And I really hope you don't do that. I think of your listing presentation and your buyer consultation as 2 very vital skills for every real professional, every achiever versus someone that's underperforming their potential. Underperforming their potential agents just say, oh, you want to see it? And they just go out there. They show them the house. Versus sitting down and saying, is anybody taking the time to show you your buying power? Is anybody taking the time to show, oh, you bank with X? Let me introduce you to my friend over at Loan Depot. They're going to get you a better rate. They're going to get you a better deal. They're going to get you to close on time. Like, is anybody taking the time to show you your real buying power, right? That buyer consultation is so important. But today it's 4 to 1. So if you said I want to do 30 transactions, 20 listings sold, I know you got to go on 40 listing appointments. And guess what? 4 times 10, you got to go on 40 buyer consultations, not showings, buyer consultations, right? Now I know that. I've got certainty around it. Rule number one of the success formula is know exactly what you want. Now, number 5, budget for expense, no more than 30%. I'm actually going to give you an example of that and show you some numbers today. And then what's your profit goal after taxes? What's your profit goal after taxes? Now, I know for a lot of you watching right now, if you just did this, you'd have more certainty. You'd know exactly what you need to do. You'd be dangerous enough to go out and get a 20 or 18 or maybe a 30% lift in your business because the market is so in your favor. But if you truly want to explode your business, if you truly want to capitalize on this opportunity where it just feels like, I know there's tragedy, but there's also triumph. Housing is the triumph in the midst of a lot of this tragedy, right? My friend Ivy Zellman made this quote on like March 20th on a podcast. She said, clearly the interest rates will trump the coronavirus. And when she said that, we kind of knew it was the very beginning. I was like, ooh, but she was right. She was right. Housing is where it's at, and you sit at the center of it. I just want you to capitalize on it. So let's keep jamming. Show me the money, baby. Here it is. The next part of the formula is you got to set a budget and measure it. So look at this just as an example, right? And again, like I'm not your CPA. I just try and give people a framework, a basic understanding, right? Staff salaries, 15.5%. So what does that mean? I've got an assistant, right? I've got a runner. Maybe that's my transaction coordinator that I'm using. That could be my outsourced marketing person, my outsourced videographer. Heaven forbid you're doing all that stuff yourself. If you're making $100,000 a year, you and I both know you're spending, if you're doing all that stuff yourself, you're spending 70% of your time doing things that could be outsourced to somebody else at $15, $18, $20 an hour, where you need to be making $100, $500, $1,000 an hour. Think about it. Marketing lead generation, no more than 10%, right? When you're talking about listing launches, direct mail, buying leads online as an example, right? Education, coaching, supplies, communication tech, auto, yada, 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 E&O insurance, all that stuff included, no more than 30%. Now, I invest in a lot of companies. When I find a company like you, where they have a 70% gross margin on their business, yeah, baby, I see a smart operator who knows how to make money and run a tight ship and have a great business. So you see below it says 30% total. 33%, I'm in California, I just count 50%. Just seems to be 50%, right? Talk to your CPA, know the rules. Giving you a 37% profit or a 30% profit, depending on how you swing it. The bottom line is this, my friends, you gotta have a budget, right? You don't wanna just go blindly into this. And my note to you is allow your manager, your mentor, your coach, whoever that may be, to hold you accountable to what matters most, which maybe, just maybe, in the next 14 months, is you paying off all of your debt and you getting to 6 figures of savings or getting it to 7 figures in savings if you're already there. That's the opportunity right now. And you don't want to miss this moment. You don't want to pass this by. You don't want to be that underperforming their potential person December 31st, 2021 going, what happened? Rates are at 4 and I missed it. They invited you to be a part of this. You need to reach out to your loan officer and say, thank you. How can we partner more? What do we need to do? Let's create an accountability around our savings. That's a great idea. Now, I'm not gonna play the little video, but I just can't help. When we talk about this, please make sure you're maximizing all of the available write-offs. You gotta pay attention. You gotta know the tax laws. All of you watching right now, you can make a fortune in this business. I know multiple agents that are making $7 million, $8 million, $10 million, $12 million, $15 million, $20 million a year selling houses, just selling a lot of them with huge brands, lots of trust, lots of inbound and outbound sales success. They're all paying attention. And I hope you are too. Now, I'm gonna show you this and I'm gonna do it relatively quickly. You guys know I'm a coach. You know, I'm one of 170 coaches in my company. So, you know, people in New Zealand and Australia and Canada and Mexico and me and others all over the US. As we're onboarding clients, one of the things we pay attention to is how does that person manage their money? So I mentioned to you earlier, achievers versus people that underperform their potential. I just want to stress to you, all this stuff's on YouTube. I'm going to go through it quickly. I just want you to get 80% of the people that come into our world don't have an LLC, don't have an S Corp, have been given bad advice, they didn't incorporate, and that scares me. It's 80%. They get a check, it goes to a personal account, and they blow the money, versus 15%. They get a check, it goes to their business account, their LLC, or however your tax person tells you to structure it, and automatically 35, 40, in my case, 50% goes to the tax account. And then I've got money there to cover my cost to run my business. And then the money goes to my home. And when you start looking at it like this, when you really start looking at it like this, guess what happens? You realize you're not making enough money. I'm saying it to you again. We could have somebody online right now watching this making $5 million a year, and you know what I'm talking about. You are not making enough money when you go taxes, cost to run my business, and my home. Because if you really look at the exceptional people, the way they manage their money, it looks more like this, right? Checks, lots of them, right? Goes into the opportunity account, goes to the tax, goes to run the business, goes to the home. Cash accounts, 529B as an example for savings for your kids for college. Retirement, real estate, you're buying bonds, the public markets, right? You're paying attention. So this isn't designed, I'm not a financial planner. What I'm getting you context for is have a budget. When you decide I want to sell 30 homes a year, you have to ask yourself, is that enough to get you what you want? Is that going to pay off your debts? Is that going to put you in a position where who cares what happens next? You did the right thing. That's the beauty of this business. Unlimited potential, unlimited opportunity. The ceiling is only in your head, your ability to write it out and execute. That's it. So let's talk about money a little bit more, right? One of the things that I'm paying attention to, and really since 7 years ago, where I came out for the first time and said, here are the most important trends I see happening right now in the residential real estate business. And you can probably imagine if you go back 7 years ago, I was saying teams are going to take over the world. Teams are going to be sold like we've seen real estate brokerage companies being sold. In the last 5 years, heads up, 120 real estate companies have sold in the US market just in the last 5 years. One of my personal clients, Matt Rand, the Rand Real Estate Company, just sold a piece of their business. We're seeing these deals everywhere, my friends. And guess what? Over 60 teams were also acquired. 60 real estate teams were also acquired. Here's the deal though, what you really gotta get, my friends, is inside of that conversation. Number 3, I said commission compression. And I remember doing this live at my summit, and I've got 5,000 people there, and everybody writes it down. They look up at me, and I'm like, let me explain. You think it doesn't matter when you and the other agent negotiate a little bit of each other's commission to get the deal done, but it does matter. It does matter that is maybe your first or last line of defense in a negotiation. And I just show people the numbers. I just say, hey, let's just say your average sales price is $500,000. You say it doesn't matter in the moment when you help your friend, when you help the next person, when you negotiate your fees a little bit more and you have a rebate and a kickback and this and that and yada, yada, yada. And then you say, wait a minute. I just had a session with a client, $100 million a year producer. And I'm like, what was your gross income? They told me the number. I'm like, so you charge 1.9% on average? No, I'm like 2.5. I'm like, well, then your gross income would be higher. I'm like, all it means is you're doing a lot of concessions in your negotiation and you're giving away your money. And I'm telling you, at 5 sales, maybe it doesn't matter, but at 18, 25, or 102 sales, it adds up, people. Just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers, right? If you haven't read Chris Voss's book, right? Chris is a dear pal, wrote a wonderful book called Never Split the Difference. If you're not role playing, if you're not thinking about how you're going to deliver value and stack the cool and market yourself in a way on a presentation, your buyer consultation, or your listing appointment to be able to say that what you do really matters and how you value it. If you're not doing that, you're going to be in trouble. It matters. It matters. I'd rather you sell the same amount of houses and increase your average commission retained percentage than sell 50 more transactions and do it at a lesser rate. I think you all get what I'm saying here. So it matters. So number 1 is know what you want. Number 2 is know why you want it. And again, you go back to achievers and people that are underperforming their potential. The achievers know what they want and they know their motivation. I was thinking about, I'm sure many of us saw the Michael Jordan, documentary that ESPN put out, right? The Last Dance. And if you really, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. I was more of I'm a Laker fan, right? Diehard Kobe Bryant fan, the late great. Got to spend a lot of time with him in the gym for a couple of years before he passed, and just an extraordinary human being on so many levels, that mama mentality. But back to Jordan in The Last Dance, if you really watch that, it was really about them finding the motivation, right, to finish at their very best. They knew it was their last year together. They knew the whole thing was going to be broken up. They knew all the reasons why. But, you know, some people in that situation, they're like, oh, interest rates are going to go up at the end of next year. Forget it. Or this is my favorite. Well, you know, it's Thanksgiving coming up, and, you know, then it's the holidays, and, you know, I've done okay this year. I might as well just kind of, and they start to decline. Your motivation matters right now. Listen to me. The 2021 spring market already started. Get that. The 2021 spring market is already here. It's already happening. We've been compressing this last year into months, and it's going to continue next year. So how are you going to dig deeper, to do more, to be more disciplined, to be more inspired, to make more phone calls, help more clients, if you don't get honest with yourself about what's driving you? So I can go old school and do it simple and say, just look at the areas of your life. Where are you today? And maybe we find some motivation in realizing that maybe physically you haven't taken care of yourself and it's time. Or maybe it's time with your family or your career or your social, your fun, your mindset, your spiritual side. Or maybe just maybe you get honest and say, I got a bunch of stupid debt. I've made a bunch of dumb decisions with my money. And you know what? I got 14 months, and in 14 months, I could pay off $80,000 in debt or $900,000 in debt. One of my clients, $17 million in debt. Took him a little more time, but we did it because we said, that's it. I want to get back to zero. I don't want to have any debt. Or I got a daughter to pay for a wedding coming up, or I want to put my kids in a position, as one of my clients just did. She paid off both of her children's homes this year. She was so inspired because she'd already done enough for herself. And it was about helping two people, right? Her son and her daughter, that she loves immensely. What's going to drive you? So first, it's just being honest about where you're at today. And then it's asking, what do you want in 2021? Like, if your life was as good as it could be, what would you go for? What would you go for? And here's the thing, like, most of that stuff could cost some money. Right? I want to do this for my family. I want to do this in my career. I want to do this with, you know, physically. I want to hire a trainer. I want to run a marathon. I want to do the Boston Marathon. I don't live in Boston. I got to fly there. All these expenses associated to hiring the coach. Money is not the end all be all. It's just a tool, my friends. It just gives you options. I just want you to have more options. Or you might ask yourself, hey, 2026, 5 years from now, was as good as it could be. What would I go for? Think about it. You got to find in you what is going to be the inspiration, the motivation that gets you off your butt every day to wake up early and do what you know you got to do. So your motivation matters. Look at these four. I'm going to go to number 3. Decide who you'd be willing to do it for. Maybe, just maybe your life is perfect and you're like, look, I got enough money and I'm cool and I got some investment properties, but you might find motivation in helping others. So I think about one of my clients, Nancy, and I got to be mindful of not sharing too many details, but I'll give you the fast version. Her husband's a very famous actor. They do very well, but her mom, not so well. So she tells me one day in a coaching session, when I'm trying to help her figure out what's going to get her to break through that glass ceiling and do more than she'd ever done when she really didn't have to work. You guys with me? But she wanted to do it. And I said, well, you know, who in your life could you do, like, who helped you? Who could you help back? And she's like, oh, my mom. I'd love nothing more than to help my mom. And I'm like, what do you want to do with your mom? She's like, I don't know. This sounds kind of crazy. I'd love to buy her a house. And I was like, Nancy, you want to buy your mom a house? I'm like, that's awesome. Where? She's like, well, like, I live in, and I'm not going to say it because it'll maybe be a little more obvious, but let's just say close to my house. And she's like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, great. So how many more transactions would we have to do? How much more after-tax savings would we have to create? Do you want to pay all cash? Do you want to buy it and make the payments? What do you want to do? We get real super clear on it. 18 months later, she throws a party at this home with her for sale sign out front, right? All of her mom's friends are there, family's there, you know, longtime family friends. Mom shows up. The whole thing is basically a facade. She's holding it open. And all of a sudden, in the middle of it, a little champagne toast. Mom, I just wanted to tell you how much I love you, all the things you've done for me, what you mean to me. And she goes, I have something for you. And she holds up the key. And she's, Mom, come here. And she hands her the key. And her, you know, mom's just like, thanks. Like, doesn't, like, not connecting the dots. She's like, Mom, This house, do you like this house? Oh yeah, it's a beautiful listing, honey. Congratulations. She goes, no, Mom, I bought you this home. She starts crying. The mom starts crying. Everybody starts crying. It was 18 months. But 18 months, she woke up every day saying, I'm going to do it for my mom. So what about you? Is it about writing a 5, 10, or 20-year vision for your life? So you stop looking at the day-to-day challenges that are happening around you and instead start thinking about a longer-term perspective, knowing there's always going to be bumps in the road? That makes a lot of sense. Or is it listing out 20 reasons why this is the year and it's a must for you? And you really dig deep because all the real truth, the real motive for action is in answers 17, 18, 19, and 20, not in 1 through 15. That's the same stuff you've written down for years. I want to be financially independent, but you don't really want it, right? Dig deep. Why do you want it? Because your motivation matters. Now, the real action here is this. So I say the ultimate success formula, number 3, is you got to create a simple action plan. A simple action plan. I don't like complicated, right? I think of a longtime friend of Loan Depot, my personal client, Polo banker, Tim Smith, Newport Beach, coastal California. When he and I started working together 12 years ago, he did 18 transactions. He'll finish this year, he and his team, 250-ish transactions, $650-ish million in volume. And 60% of the transactions he's doing himself. He is a powerhouse. And what makes him so successful is we keep it simple, because real estate and clients and life is very complex. You know what I'm saying? We need his business to be simple. Like, what do I have to do to get from here to here? Simple. So I had been sharing this formula for a long, long time. I said, we need to get to your daily number. He said, what's that? I said, I'll give you an example. You tell me the total number of transactions you want to do, right? So there's so many of you all over the place here. I'm just going to say, just for fun, let's say it's 30 transactions, right? So I'll do the little formula for you. Ready? So I say, great, ultimate success formula, you write in 30 transactions. You times that by 50. So you times it by 50. What does that mean? You got to talk to 1,500 people to guarantee you sell 30 transactions. 1,500 people. Now, before you go, 1,500 people, Ferry, you tell me I got a cold call? Are you out of your mind? It's 2020. It's 2021. Zillow, Instagram, Facebook, partnering with Mello. I mean, there's so many ways you can attract clients today. That's the easy part. What we know, though, remember, I'm 31 years in this industry, 28 years as a coach. It has always and forever been marketing and prospecting to create leads to nurture, to book appointments to go on, to convert and get paid. Marketing and prospecting. But the question is, wouldn't it be great to know how many people you actually need to talk to guarantee your success? To guarantee your success. I didn't say cold call at all. I just said how many people you need to talk to. How many people do you need to talk to? So let's just play along with that. You want to do 30 transactions. That's 1,500 people. That's the total. Maybe you're only 40 conversations. Yesterday, I was on the phone with one of my clients, Michelle, and I can't say her last name, very, very high-profile agent in New York City, right? Her average commission is $83,000, right? She wants to do 15 transactions. We break down the numbers. Basically, for her, it's every 80 conversations, she makes a sale. Every 80 conversations, she makes a sale. And her average commission is $83,000. That's bonkers. But see, Michelle knows how many people she has to talk to, mostly in her database and outside of her database, to guarantee her success. So as much as she is this high profile, rock star, very elegant, very sophisticated real estate professional, Park Avenue, Upper West Side, la agent, she knows with certainty how many people she needs to talk to, and that's why she wins. You with me on this? So what do we do then? We know we got to talk to 1,500 people. I say you divide that by 10 months. So you divide that by 10 months, that's pretty easy. That's 150. And now I say to myself, you're like, what do you mean 10 months? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, birthdays, fun, vacations, events. Hopefully we'll go to a convention sometime soon, life. So I say to agents, if you really hunker down and you really do the work, 20 days a month of making your calls, right? All the other days off, you can do your follow-up and everything else, but 20 days a month, you do your calls, you do that 10 months, that's 200 days. Oh my goodness, the success that you would create. You know it and I know it. So I say, all right, so it's 150. Then I say to you, all right, so let's just say you got to talk to 150 people a month, divide that by 20. That's a whopping 7.5. And since you can't talk to half a person, you roll it up to 8. So I got to have 8 conversations a day. Let's play a game for a second. We have 11 million Americans currently unemployed. Let's call the 11 million and let's say to them, so let me introduce this agent. They have to talk to 8 people a day. Their average commission is $10,000. Every 50 people they talk to, they get a $10,000 check. What do you think that person's going to say? And you're like, but I'm busy and I'm tired and I don't like making my phone calls and I didn't get into the business for that. They're going to punch you in the throat and you deserve it, right? You deserve it. Or they're going to say, oh, that's what it's like to underperform your potential versus being an achiever. If you want your goals, you got to do the work. If you want your goals, you got to do the work. And what this is giving you is a basic plan to follow. It doesn't need to be complex. And look what it says. Ready? So you got your daily number. We're calling that 8. You take that number, you divide it in half. Half to your database, your past clients and sphere, the people that know you, like you, trust you, that you never call enough. Because email isn't enough, and Facebook isn't enough, and Instagram isn't enough, and the occasional video shoot is not enough. You have to actually have meaningful conversations with people, right? Half to your database and half to new. And the new could come from anywhere. Wear your company name badge. Put your mask on. Go into Starbucks. Someone's going to say, hey, you're in real estate. How's the market, right? Like everybody knows, everybody wants to talk about housing right now. Everybody is interested right now. You know it and I know it. So you got to talk to more people. You got to do your daily number. Half to your database, half to new. If you're watching this right now and you're like, I can't say this agent's name, but let's just say they have 4,000 people in their database. And this person was so excited to tell me I've got 4,000 people in my database. I'm like, that's awesome. If I called all 4,000, how many would actually say, I know name? All of them. I'm like, great. Let's start calling the Z's. And I want you to go all the way from Z to X. And let's see how many. He's like, oh my goodness. I have a ton of people inside my database have no idea who I am. I'm like, right. So I said, if you have that situation, have your daily number just be everybody inside your database, the ones that you know and like and trust, and then all those other people you just added in there to make the connection. Start there. Let's keep jamming. You ready? 5542. This is Tim Smith. This was his original daily number. So remember I said to you, 4 to your database, 4 to new. Tim was 5 to his database and 5 to new. Now, Timmy Smith is a wildly successful 14 or 15, I think, in the world on the Wall Street Journal team list. Andy C., another one of my personal clients from Saratoga, Silicon Valley area. His number is like 20, 10 and 10. And Andy did $12 million in commissions already this year. He sold 41 houses last month in Silicon Valley and made $1.9 million in commissions. This guy's a machine, but he understands, even with his 4 kids, if he does his daily number, he goes on enough appointments, he wins. If he doesn't, he loses. It's that simple. So I use this 5542 more as just a reference. 5 to your database, 5 new, then 4 lead follow-up, because you got to nurture and schedule appointments. Remember, prospecting and marketing, nurturing and following up, booking appointments, closing deals. And then 2 represents 2 videos a day. 2 videos a day, because you got to stay top of mind with people, top of mind. And if you're not on their Instagram feed, their LinkedIn feed, their Twitter feed, their Facebook feed, guess what? Somebody else is. And I'm just challenging you in this so uber noisy environment to stay connected to the people that matter most in your 5s and in your 2s and on those 4s. Make sense? All right. So the next thing is, again, we're on number 3, like that action plan. I don't mean to overcoach, and I know I'm giving you a lot to think about, and I know I'm going at you fast, but I want you to consider, do the thing, have the power. Emerson's favorite quote, do the thing, have the power. You want to design your day around causing you to win. So what does that mean? You got 5 parts of your day, right? A morning routine that fires you up. This business is hard. All business is hard. Making the kind of money you make is hard. Stop asking for things to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So what does that mean? Like, if it's hard, that means we have to do things that give us emotional and mental and physical toughness every day. So we can go out and fight the fight and deal with the challenges and manage all the problems. We know that your income is in direct correlation to your ability to solve problems at scale. So if you're feeling beaten up by the end of the day, it means you didn't do stuff in the morning that gave you the strength to go out and fight the fight. The second one, get to the office at the same time every day, even if it's your home office, or in this case, my kitchen here in Dallas. Number 3, your business morning routine, which means you get up and you review the MLS and you look at the hot sheets and you study the market. So when someone says, how's the market? You don't say, great, busy, oh my God, best year ever, totally nuts. But instead you say, it really depends. You're looking to buy, sell, invest, or rent. Which part of the market are you interested in? They're like, I don't know, just kind of curious about the overall market. Well, are you curious about like the value of your home? Are you like, what part of it? Well, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about my own. Well, you live in this neighborhood. This is what I know. I was just reviewing the numbers this morning. Homes are trading at this dollar per square foot, that dollar per square foot. But if you're 4 years or newer, new construction, you might even be able to get a premium of this, especially if you have a view or a pool or a second office, yada, yada. When you really know the market, achievers study the market. People that underperform their potential, how's the market? Great, super busy. Oh, wish there was more homes on the market. That's nonsense. Consumers don't care about that information. They want to know the meat, the details. So you study the MLS every day. You role play every day. You practice, right? Like practice negotiation, practice handling objections, practice the things that take the money away from you or suck up your time. How to deal with the difficult seller, deal with the challenging buyer, deal with the other agent that's tough to negotiate with. Work on that stuff. 5542, that's your daily number, your follow-up, and your videos, managing your business, going on appointments, and more. You design your day around that. But if I were to tell you just the one thing above all, it would be this. Just read it to yourself. It's a decision. I'm asking you, and I know Randy would say the same, asking you to decide to be an appointment setting, value delivering, trust building machine. What makes the great ones great, the achievers extraordinary, is they understand that appointments are the only leading indicator to a signed contract. Appointments, remember, marketing and prospecting, nurturing and following up, going on appointments. If you're not booking appointments all the time, you're not closing deals. One begets the next. So every day the achiever wakes up, looks at their calendar and says, I've got this appointment, this appointment, this appointment, or they go, I have no appointments. I'm gonna spend the entire day following up, talking to people and getting appointments because I need appointments if I wanna be selling houses. Make sense? But it's a decision. It's the choice to say, I'm an appointment setting machine. I'm gonna deliver massive value. I'm gonna be great at solving their problems because that's what you really do. You're like part home shopper / therapist. You with me? How many appointments have you been on this year, certainly in the last few months, where they're like, I'm not sure if we should sell, if we should rent, if we're going to make the move or we're not going to make the move. And you're like this lifestyle therapist helping them make these decisions. That's the job right now. That's the job, right? Delivering value, creating the trust, helping them make good decisions. By the way, one of my all-time favorite books, if you haven't read it, I strongly recommend it. The book is called The Slight Edge. The Slight Edge, right? And this book, if you just Google it or get the audio, the whole thing is basically Emerson's quote, do the thing, have the power, right? Everything in life it takes to be simple is easy to do. It's easy to make phone calls. Hey, call John Bianchi, right? It's easy to do that. It's also easy not to do it. The achievers do it every day, and the people that underperform their potential don't. It's that simple. It's that simple. Tick tock, tick tock. We got 14 months. You got 14 months. No one knows beyond that what's going to happen, but we know we got 14 months. Buyer demand, low interest rates, very low inventory. We've got to be more aggressive. Now is the time. The spring market of 2021 is already here. So the last one, tracking and measuring. Tracking and measuring. So Pearson's Law, if you Google Pearson, it's like Pear, Pearson. Pearson's Law is something that, oh my goodness, I think every major management book you would read today, OKRs, Measure What Matters, the 4 Disciplines of Execution, EOS, everything is this, it all comes from Pearson's Law. And here's what it says. When you measure performance, performance improves. When I measure all my calls and contacts, leads, and appointments, they improve. When I measure how many listing appointments I go on, they improve. When I measure my finances, it improves. Whatever you measure improves. But Pearson went on to say, when you measure performance, performance improves. But when you measure performance and you report it back to someone, the rate of improvement accelerates dramatically, right? So it's that accountability with your spouse, with your kid, with your manager, with your coach, with your mentor, with your mastermind. It's creating that accountability. I want to show you something, and even though I know it's older, it just reminds me, it just makes my heart sing. So long-time client, right? Certainly known well in the world of Loan Depot, Jason Ferris from Fresno, California. 2016, he gets inspired. We did a session like this, and he was like, that's it. I know if I book 225 listing appointments in a year, I will have the best year ever. And I like it because it's simple. I just focus on doing that one thing and I give it everything in my power. And he took it and he put it up on his wall and you see it there visually. And could you imagine when that went up on the wall and agents and people walk by and they're like, whoa. And then some people go, would you go to a Tom Ferry seminar and get all motivated? And he said, the moment I put it up there, Tom, the moment I put it up there where everybody could see it, now my booty was on the line. Like people would walk by and go, hey, looks like it's starting out a little slow for you, which gave him the motivation to go do more. By the end of the first quarter, he was on track and he's like, I'm going to do so many more listing appointments this year than I did last year. This is nuts. It's that simple action plan. Simple, like we talked about, daily number. How many appointments in the very first one? How many buyer consultations? How many seller consultations? That focus, but putting it up visual and measuring it so he saw it every day. You could see he failed miserably. I mean, it was horrible. Wanted 225, only booked 205 appointments, 17 canceled, went on 188, listed 143, more than he's ever taken in his life in a single year. My point to you is this, my friends. Get it up, get it visual, right? Track and measure whatever you want to get better. Track and measure whatever you want to get better. Now, getting close to wrapping it up, I want to just throw this out to you. Tick tock, tick tock. We've got 57 days left, 56 days left between now and the end of the year. The 2020 spring market has already started. My question for you is, what are the most important projects? The most important projects before the end of the year? Do you need to reorganize your database? Has your marketing been freshened up? Have you decided upon how you're going to recognize your partners, right? Your Loan Depot loan officers for being so darn reliable and helping you with so many transactions, your escrow officer, your title rep, your manager, your friends in the industry, your past clients. What are you going to do to say thank you? How are you going to celebrate your success? What are the projects you need to get done? Is your database ready to go? Is your marketing plan complete? Have you figured out, like, are all my profiles right on all of the social media channels? Like, are you ready to go for this bonkers 14 months? And then my second question is, what new disciplines? Like, I say this all the time, like, here's your goals. And for many people, here's their disciplines. So if your goals are here and your disciplines are over here, this is what's going to win. We need to align, if you will, those behaviors with the new goals. So if this year you did 18 and next year you want to do 36, it's going to require some new discipline. So what's it going to be? Making your daily calls. I hope that's on the list. Nurturing your database, shooting more videos, following your schedule, managing your life money more effectively, setting up all those accounts, sitting down with your CPA, firing your Uncle Larry who does your taxes, who's horrible. Like, what are you going to do? What are the new disciplines? And then the last one is, what do you need to do to increase your accountability? What do you need to do to increase your accountability? I'll tell you a personal story. I had a hip replacement a year ago, I guess 2 weeks, right? Thanksgiving week. Last year, I spent it basically in a hospital and then out and, on crutches. And when you do something like that, like it creates a lot of awareness for me now at 50, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should have been more flexible. Maybe I need to stretch more. I've been saying I need to stretch more, I don't know, for 30 years. And it took a hip replacement don't recommend it. But all of a sudden where I was like, yeah, you know what? Having really tight hamstrings is a bad idea. So you know what I did? I found someone I could do yoga with. Now in this case, I hired him to come to my house early in the morning and help me understand yoga and how to do all these crazy positions. And if I didn't have that accountability in place, if Nick wasn't there, I wouldn't be doing yoga, because there's I know I should do it, and then there's the accountability to actually get it done until it becomes a behavior. It doesn't always have to be forever, my friends. But in the beginning, you know the lie. 21 days to develop a habit. That's BS. Google the actual science behind it. Harvard has done studies on this. 67 days for a basic habit, pushing 90 plus days for something a little more advanced, right? Like, it takes time to develop this. Accountability simply speeds it up. Where do you need more accountability? To pay off your debts, to save more money, to make your phone calls, to once and for all take advantage of the market and stop being that person that's underperforming their potential and move into that achiever category. Because on the back of your license, it doesn't say underperform your potential. It says you're a licensed real estate professional. Go tear up the world. Go do your thing. Go be powerful. Go solve problems. Go help as many people as you can. Make sense? Now, as I wrap, if we can help, if you need a tune-up, if you need to talk to somebody, you want to set up 2021, call my office, 844-612-9087. 844-612-9087. And just say, I need help. Talk to that crazy Tom Ferry guy. Man, does he talk fast. And hey, yeah, I need a tune-up. We get phone calls every day from people doing 1,500 deals a year, CEOs of companies, team leaders, brand new agents, and everything under the sun saying, just trying to sort it out, man. Just need somebody that understands the business maybe from a different perspective. Like, let's talk. And if we could be of value for you, we would love to do that. So 844-612-9087. So as I wrap, I do want to say to you guys, Loan Depot, by the way, because I know Dan Hansen forever, I've known John Bianchi forever, a lot of these amazing people inside this organization, like, they get it. This is a value exchange, right? You got a lot of options when it comes to mortgage companies. You got a lot of options. I think it always comes down to relationships. So I would challenge all of you, if you haven't taken the time to make a connection with somebody at Loan Depot. I mean, forget Mellow Homes. To get the Mellow Homes opportunity, you got to have a relationship, right? Like, I would challenge you guys to reach out, have a conversation and say, what can we do together? Not what can you do for me? What can we do together to create a better experience for our clients? Bring more transparency, bring more certainty, make the real estate process easier and beautiful, so we collectively work together to serve our customers. And you make that connection, and boy, let me tell you, you will have a lot of magic in 2021. So I actually see interested in getting connected with a Loan Depot consultant? Absolutely yes. Give them a call, 888-946-3556, right? You should absolutely do that today, whether it was for the value of this conversation or because maybe you're just not getting the value you want, like that mutual connection around client experience. And maybe that's where your heart is, and that's the future client experience, like Amazon and others. So as I wrap it up, Randy, I'm going to turn it back to you. I gave you guys my cell phone early. I don't know if you captured it. Not that you need one more phone number, but 949-216-5466. If you want to text me, I can answer questions pretty much every night until about midnight. So happy to help. So Justin, Randy, I turn it back to you guys.
Tom, awesome. Amazing.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
That was great, Tom. There's so much opportunity out there these next 14 months. And,
right.
As you said, so important to connect with someone that gets it and that can help you on that journey, right. Which is definitely what we're looking to do here at Loan Depot and at Mellow Home is try and connect you with someone that's passionate about the same things that you are and that wants to help you succeed as we succeed together. So definitely check out Tom's information that he provided. It's on the screen here, as well as Mellow Home if you're interested in being a part of that, matching up with a loan consultant at Loan Depot. We'd love to have you for that as well. Randy, some final words you want to share?
5542.
5542.
Be an appointment setting machine.
That's right.
It's simple.
Randy, doesn't that sound the same for all of our loan officers too?
Yeah, exactly. Same. Yes.
Whoever goes on the most appointments wins. You could be the lousiest agent or loan officer on the planet. You go on a ton of appointments. Someone's going to go, I like that, and they're going to sign up.
You got it.
Yeah, love
really
it.
Appreciate everything you did for us again today, Tom.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure. Please give my best to the executive team, and I'll see you guys soon at our next meeting. Take care, my friends. Finish the year strong. Do your projects, do your discipline, and make those calls. Lots of love, guys. Take care.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. And hope you learned some awesome new things. Again, we want to help loan consultants. Home is everything. We want to help people get into new homes. We want to help people get into the home of their dreams. We're really passionate about that. So we want to partner with you. We want to help you be successful too. We think that there's a lot of great things that we can do together, especially over these next 14 months. So thank you for all your comments. Thanks everybody for jumping in and all the things that you've added to the discussion as well. And we hope that you have a great day. So thank you from Loan Depot, from Mellow Home, for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.